Exactly.
Good. So how you doing today, this lovely Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing good. I went outside real quick and
Yeah,
I noticed that it's actually warm out.
it
Not
is.
like don't Boston warm.
I was about to say I'm about
Winter,
to put on my poom poom shorts, bro.
no.
Stop playing
Right.
with me.
No. Nothing like that. Not yet. But I mean
Okay.
it feels good to just something. I can't stand winter. And
It's
so
the worst, yo. And
it
we're
is.
from Boston, but I
Yep.
can never get used to Boston winters. I'm always
Nope.
so miserable when it comes to our winters, yo.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want Let's get naked, like the juice do, like the juice do. Don't step off the floor, baby, me and you, baby, me and you. Let's get naked, oh, let's get naked.
Well, let me do the intro and actually act like a professional. Hey, family.
What's up? What's up?
And thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Lez Get Naked with MzMo Fella. I got family in the building, yo. This is now, I call my audience family, but this is family
Yep.
for real. You
That's
understand
right.
me? This is childhood friendships, families growing up together in
Yep.
church, singing in the same choirs.
Yeah.
This is throwback Thursday. Oh, it's not Thursday, it's Sunday, but it's throwback Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
I got my big bro Leroy Irvin Jr. in the house.
What's
Say
up?
what's happening.
Oh, you said the full government.
Got to
That's
say the
what's
full
up.
thing, yes, because the junior means something these days, and we'll touch in
does.
on that
It does.
because this,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Senior will always hold a special place in my heart, so I always got to
That's
make
what's
sure
up.
I address the junior for sure.
That's what's up.
So welcome to Let's Get
Thank
Naked,
you.
bro. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you for taking time out your schedule to come sit with little old me. No kidding.
I got you. Oh, stop it.
You know I gotta
Stop.
mess with you just a little bit, El. You know I gotta
Yep.
mess with you.
Yep.
But for those of you, those people who are living under the rock, or those in my Let's Get Naked family that don't listen to radio, idiots, tell them who you are, bro. Oh, you running your own resume? Oh yeah, oh
As you
yeah.
said. I'm just a regular, average guy from Boston, Mass, born and raised, living in Dorchester, Grove Hall. I always represent Grove Hall
Dorchester
to the
kids,
fullest.
man. You already
To the
know.
fullest. Even though
Yes.
things is changing around there, and it's like it's crazy, but whatever.
Yo, we'll get into that.
From Dorchester. Long story short, we fast forward to today. I work in the media here in Boston, on radio. Executive producer for Hot 96.9 Boston's morning show with Ramiro Pebbles and Melissa.
Come on.
I also do the sports reporting on that on the
Yes.
station every morning.
Mhm.
Sometimes I fill in on 98.5, the Sports Hub, talking
Okay.
sports with those guys.
Mhm.
And yeah, just overall a creator of things. And I'm not saying
Always
all the
been.
things I create are nice.
Stop!
But
Don't even start,
I'm
El,
out
because you
there.
always do this. You always do this. This man is the most low key genius here. I know. I'm gonna
appreciate
call
it.
it because yo, you have creative juices in so many different outlets, and you
Thank
always
you.
be like, oh, it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest, but yo, it's lit though. Like we'll get into all of it,
I
but
appreciate it. Okay.
let's start from the beginning. Good old Grace Church of all nations,
Yes.
man, where it
Yes.
all began.
That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, like when I tell y'all we grew up together, we grew up together. As far back as churches I can remember, Grace is all I know. And the Irvin family is the second thing that all I know when it comes
Wow.
to the Grace Church of all nations. I mean, aside from,
Right.
Bishop Foxworth, shout
Right,
out to him.
Right.
But like even back then we were, you were so musically inclined, playing the drums, rapping. You might try to hit a note like here and there. I don't know if that was your strong suit. I don't.
Actually, I can hold a note.
You can
I
hold
know
a note.
Everybody says that. That's the Black response.
Right.
I can hold a note, but I can hold a note.
Right.
That
You was
don't mean
holding
I'm
the tenor
great.
section down for a while with the youth
I
choir.
hated
You was
that.
holding.
I hated singing in the choir. I can't even front. That was the worst. And they used to make us wear robes and stuff
Yo,
too.
Yo.
Thank God we got out of that.
We are free. We are free.
Yeah.
But no, so let me give people a little bit of background. So Leroy is like my big brother. So he was more in the crew with my older brothers, Craig and Damien. I don't know if y'all know, Living Under a Rock, the Po Boys, all y'all was in this musician circle. And then I was kind of up with his younger brothers, Matthew and Daniel. You know what I mean? Those are my homies. So when I tell you, like, our families were intertwined throughout generations. Oh, and shout out to my big god sis Loretta, man. What am I doing? Right. The originator, the number one Irvin child. But yeah, we've all been intertwined with each other. So we all were at Grace growing up, and then I don't know how we all seemed to transition over to New Covenant. Now it's called Jubilee, but we all ended up over there too.
That's right. I know how that happened.
Okay. Are you about to drop it? Drop it. Remind me, bro. Remind me.
Yeah, it was real simple. So my father made the decision for the family that we were going to go over there.
Okay.
Now we didn't. Now, all of us as kids at that time, we did not want to go. What happened was, like, I remember being at Grace, and all of a sudden, being a part of the youth ministry at Grace, it was like, it was growing and blossoming into this like thing that I can't even describe, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And then my father made the decision to go to Jubilee. It's like, hey, we were like,
we're right here. We're right here.
So we're right there. We went over to Jubilee. We were there for I don't know how long. But then what happened was the music ministry there had created a studio and a record label called I think it was wasn't it
Axiom or something? Yep,
yes.
Axiom.
And so at the time, Leroy Hampton, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. That it's still crazy that we have to say that. Like, it's absolutely insane. And
but
continue.
So he was looking for musicians constantly, looking for producers, people to feed into and to help develop. And your brothers were absolutely that.
Okay.
And so,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, El, but apparently somebody decided to come up my street like a motorcycle gang right in this moment. You can hear it. I do. Is it overpowering right in this moment? Okay, it's good. I'm like, really, right now? Y'all want to come up as a whole motorcycle gang? All right, bet. Go ahead, bro.
So your brothers, they come over. Obviously, if they're coming over, they're gonna bring you in. And it became a music thing. Create music in the studio, having late night sessions, overnight sessions. Yeah, it was crazy.
Those sessions were nuts, yo. But it built character to a certain extent that's carrying with us now in our adult lives. It's crazy. And we had a brief conversation before in another meeting where I mentioned to you, like, it's insane to see all these people that we grew up with, all these people we were trapped up in the studio with, late nights learning and burning the midnight oil, kind of all in their own lanes, changing the world respectively.
Changing the world, right.
It's crazy, yo, and it's so dope.
It's not even, you're not even being extra or exaggerating. It's for real.
For real.
After that conversation we had, I thought about it a lot. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Let me say it like that.
Come on.
I remember being a young guy, being in the mix, and always feeling like everybody was special, whether it be in music. Like, you know how you hear, everybody's special. I'm talking about
for real.
That's true. It's true, but I'm talking about like talent. Like, it wasn't all music. It wasn't all in the entertainment sector or whatever, but you could just tell.
That zhuzh. I don't know how else to explain it. Like that zhuzh.
It felt like a special moment. It felt like something where I'm like, I hope someone's documenting that we're all in this together. Yeah. And it's sad to some degree because back then I think we could have accomplished some things if things went the right way. Yeah. But still, looking at the groups of people, I'm not surprised. I'm like,
I know.
I know because I remember when your brother Craig was playing. He would play I want to say it was a 3-note song for not Excel wasn't even around then. Okay. But he was playing something very simple. And then to go from that, and I want to say within a year, 2 years, he was like, it was like, yo, like, where did this come from?
Craziness.
And it was moments like that. It was seeing Damien go from playing on the drums, doing very, simple things to just going nuts. Where I had to sit back and be like, this dude just, he surpassed me. He's doing his thing. And it was great. Now you get into people writing, producing, engineering,
whole different
photography, all that. I'm not
crazy.
Surprised.
And it's so dope. I think, like you said, it was a very powerful moment those days, like we said, trapped in the midnight. And let me give a little bit of background history for those who don't understand what we're talking about those days. So during these days, rest in peace to Leroy Hampton, he had cultivated a movement, because that was more than just a choir. That was a movement. Right. But it started off with New Covenant's Power Praise. And, throughout time, it kind of dwindled down into this small group of us, the ensemble. What was the name? Was it 8 Days from Dawn? It was that was.
Come on, dog. Don't even.
But the
8 days. I don't know.
It was 8 DFD. I think I remember that being the letters. What it stood for, I couldn't tell you. But we were like if y'all knew about Diddy's making the band, we were doing that before Diddy was. You feel me? Like Leroy Hampton, and the combination of Leroy Hampton and my brother Craig Poe was like Diddy times 100. Like it was crazy. So we kind of got really tough skin in the music industry, whether, we continue to sing, whether we continue to produce or anything, we kind of learned a discipline throughout that stage, so that, now you're in radio killing it. You know what I mean? Executive producer on 96.9. Who do we think we are, King? Who do we think we are? You know what I mean? And I'm over here, trying to do a little something,
You're doing your thing. Don't you start.
I'm going to be you for a second. I'm over here trying to do a little something or whatever. But no, like, even we see the Courtney Harrells, even her little brother Ryan, like, everybody, Pastor Rick, everybody's out here changing the world literally. So I just want to dial it back a little bit to your personal story. So I always knew you for being musically inclined. Don't make me have to recite the rap from Give It Up, because I still remember it. I'm gonna hit you with it before it's over. I'm gonna hit you with it. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with it. So Leroy was a rapper.
I got stuff to say about that.
Look, let me just bust it. Whether I'm broke or rich, healthy or sick, living in the mansion or waking up in the bricks, still got to give it. Shut up. No. I'm gonna give it to the Lord since my time is finished.
You know what was so messed up about that is that Leroy Hampton made me do the rap in like a 3 or even 4-part harmony. So if you listen to it, I'm rapping the song
4 different times.
Yes.
Yes. Leroy, shout out to.
And that's why it has it's not a bad sound, but it has a weird sound, because you like, this note, rap it in this note, rap it in this note, rap it in this note.
It's like, so nobody does rap. He was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time.
No, he wasn't, because ain't nobody doing that.
We got to bring it back. Quiet rap. Quiet rap. But no, so I always knew Leroy for being 100% the rapper, the producer, drummer, you know what I mean? And then I turn around and I see Leroy behind the mic. I mean, you started off with your brothers doing radio, right? Yeah. So when I heard you behind the mic, I'm like, okay, I like Leroy's voice. He's got a commercial sound. There's a difference between just having a good voice and having a commercial sound. And your voice definitely crosses those boundaries. So yeah, look at me trying to sound like I know something.
That's one of the first times I've ever heard that. Thank you.
You have a commercial sound for sure.
Thank you.
So how was that transition? I mean, I know for my personal experience, because I kind of did the same thing, but if you could tell my audience that transition from music to radio.
Yep. Okay, so I was living in Atlanta and I was working for basically Interscope, but like subsidiaries to Interscope. So I was engineering, I was producing and doing stuff like that. Now I'm down there, I'm having fun. Atlanta is on the rise. And to be honest, I had moments of confusion on if I still wanted to be involved in the music industry.
Okay.
And the moment that comes to, I'm in the studio, And I'm saying was Milan or Malign 9 or whatever. I'm only mentioning his name because he sounded just like Tupac. And I was like, this ain't gonna work. His voice was weird. It was straight up like Pac. Like he met Pac's mother. She was crying after hearing his voice. Yeah, it was crazy. Okay. But anyways, so I'm getting ready for the session and I look down to the floor and I'm like, man, who done brung their kids up in here and they left their toy guns in here? You know? So I'm like, man, yeah. So I'm like, whatever. So I go back to get in the session and then it hits me. Like, man, ain't no kids in here. These are real automatic weapons down here. And that was a moment for me where I had to stop and I'm like, they're in here for a reason. Someone must feel the need to have them in there. And I don't know if that is for me.
Got you.
So that was one moment. Then another moment was, and this was the final straw for me. Shout outs to my boy Andrus down there in Atlanta, doing some music with him. And Dallas Austin. You know Dallas Austin?
Come on, bro.
Okay. They were all connected. I got to spend time over there in their studio and all. It was a lot of. But we had just submitted it Dallas. Maybe say 2-3 weeks go by. We go over there to talk to him. He's actually playing the music as we walk in, and he's singing the songs word for word. And he's like, "Yo, like I love this, and he's singing it word for word. So we're sitting there looking at each other like it's about to go down.
All right, we in there.
Yeah, we in there. Now at the time, snap music was bubbling up, and I hated it because coming from for me, to me, there was no musicality in it. It was so dumbed down and plain to me that it was just like whatever. So Dallas goes, yo, I love this, but can you give me some of that snap music?
Oh man.
And I felt the musician in me just die because he went on to explain, listen, this is the music business. I need something that I can make money off of right now. And I can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's the truth. But the musician in me just died. And I was like, and I said to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. So again, I'm living down in Atlanta every day. I'm driving around and picking up my kids when they're all little. And I went to this sports show called the 2 Live Stews.
Okay.
And with Doug and Ryan Stewart. And I would listen to them every day, and they're brothers, and I'm cracking up. I'm laughing at the stuff they do. I was dedicated every day. And I remember driving, and then another light bulb went off, and I was like, yo, I talk sports all the time with my boys.
As far back as I can remember. Okay, you played basketball too? I forgot to talk about that. Yeah.
I'm like, hold up. So I love sports. I talk sports with my boys. And then the creative, producing, engineering side of me, I can also do that if I do a show. And it was like, well, I'm doing a show. Wow. And so I hit up, we moved back to Boston. I hit up my brothers. I hit up Cerrone Battle.
Okay.
And I say, listen, I got this idea. Who's down? Now, at the time, I had a computer. I had all, the stuff. So every week I would take my equipment to Cerrone's house.
Wow.
And we was sitting there and we would record and we would put out a podcast before
podcasting was popping. Talk about it, bro.
We put out a podcast every single week. I engineered it. I did not talk on the show. I just wanted to produce and engineer. And therefore, you have Hot 97.
Come on.
Around. And Matt. So I wrote up a letter saying, listen, this is play action. I think we belong on air because of X, Y, and Z. They loved the letter and gave us an opportunity. Now, still, I'm not talking on air. I'm just producing. I'm sitting back, pushing the buttons, making sure everything runs smooth. And it was a lot of fun. I still have audio of that stuff to this day. That
Yo, that show was lit.
Crack it up. It was funny.
That show was lit, and it's crazy because, like, I mean, I'm a sports fan, but I'm not a sports fan like y'all are. And I could tune into that show and catch all the laughs. Y'all were clowns. Right. I mean, we've all been raised clowning around each other, so that was perfect.
It was the best. And then one day somebody was like, "Yo, you should talk." Mm-hmm. I was like, nah. My whole mindset, and I do this a little bit too much, even to this day, was as long as everyone else is happy, I'm good. I just want to make sure everyone.
You, Al.
Yeah, and I've learned from it, even though I'm still battling with it today. I've learned from it that you'll miss out on some stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I was like, y'all go ahead. No, leave it up. So I got on the mic, and they loved it. People loved it. And it was just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing now. And the love, because I still love music, but it was like a deep love for music. That deep love for music that I had as far as creating, it transferred over into the sports show.
Yeah.
And I will put that sports show up against anybody. Because when people would call in and say, you guys belong over here. You guys belong over there. I've heard people say they were late for church because they were sitting in the car, cracking up.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not just cracks and jokes. Like, you guys actually knew your stuff. You knew what you were talking about. So I agree. You could put that show up against any of these sports shows we got going on now, and y'all
I felt
take
it
off.
Back then, and I feel it even to this day. And so, and that happened, and then just from there, it just kept. I ended up. Well, let me rewind a little bit because this story's interesting too.
Okay.
Now, financially, I was trying to figure things out, and I was really, really, really going hard, trying to just get my life in order. Not that I was out of order, but let's just be honest. Being a Black man, being a Black person, we face stuff I don't think people have an idea. I remember going for interviews for all types of jobs, and I've had all types of jobs.
And can we dispel this somehow mythical idea that people believe when you're in radio, apparently, that you got money? And it's like, no, we're not celebrities. We're not. This isn't Hollywood. I mean, like especially me in urban radio, we don't get paid. That's voluntary basis. You know what I mean? So, and then, I mean, even in the mainstream radio world, it's not life-changing salary. So you still have to get out here and hustle and do your thing. I don't know why people think money comes with it, but continue, bro.
So this is before hot. So anyways, long story short, I need benefits. I need, health benefits, all that stuff. So this guy says, listen, I have a job, and if you want it, you can have it. I know you. You're a good dude. I see that you're struggling. I don't know why others aren't giving you an opportunity. Monique, the job was to work at a halfway house for prisoners who were fresh out of jail and getting ready to transfer back to the streets. Now, I'm in my mind, I'm saying, I don't really have any options. I got kids, I got a family.
Yeah.
So I go to the interview. I kill the interview. But as I'm walking out, these ex-prisoners are eyeballing me. They trying to challenge me. All that. And I'm like, I can't. In my mind, I'm like, I can't do this. So I go out. So I'm outside. I know I got the job. And I prayed. And I was like, God, this isn't for me. But I don't have any other options. Can you please, if I'm supposed to do something else, I need that sign now. The next day, I get a phone call saying that at the time, the assistant program director, her name was Jill Strada. And Jill's a major player in radio. She's down in Miami right now. And she goes, yeah, I heard you've done some board work before or whatever. Do you want to be a board op here at the station at Hot 96.9? Mind you, a board op again, say it's not a lot of money at all. My hours were going to be all over the place. I'm going to have to work overnight sometimes. And there weren't benefits or anything like that included. But I remembered I had asked for a sign.
Right in that time.
Right in that time. So I said, okay, now I got to go to my family and tell them what I'm about to do. Take the heat. But I knew in my heart, I was like, I got to bet on myself. All I need is a foot in the door.
Wait, let me paint that picture though, because listen, let's have a Black person moment. That is tough. As a Black man with a family is 5 now. You got 4 kids, right? Family of 5 to go home and say, hey, yep, I know I got this job with the benefits and all that, right? But this job is being presented to me about my passion, what I love to do. How did that look? How did that look, Al?
It didn't look good. It didn't look good. So I had already prepared myself for, the frustration, and rightfully so, because, they obviously family does come first. Nobody was sick or going through anything bad, but I knew, again, I had asked for a sign. I know what my God-given talents are. I know my work ethic. And so when that came up, I was like, oh, no, this is an easy choice.
That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. And so I did it. And now I'm working in, I'm doing overnight shifts. I'm doing the night shift. It's just me in the entire building by myself. Wow. I loved it. I'm pushing the buttons. I'm making sure things sound right. I'm making sure songs blend. All that. I loved it. Let's say about a year goes by and the executive producer for the morning show decides that, she's going to move on to something else. So that job becomes available. I wasn't even thinking about it. Shout outs to Cadillac, who is the program director.
Drop that big name. You just dropped Cadillac.
And I believe it was him. If it wasn't him, it might have been Scott.
Okay.
But they were like, yo, you should go for this job. I'm like, okay. I wasn't feeling it at first, but I said, all right, I'm gonna go for it.
Now, what does the executive producer job entail? So I know what that looks like.
Putting together, having the final say on what happens on the show on a daily basis. Making sure that they stay on time, that that we're hitting our spots at the right time, coming up with ideas and topics and, introducing them to topics that they might not know about, all that, just keeping everything rolling.
I wanted to make sure I highlighted that because a lot of people don't understand the importance of the executive producer. A lot of people think you just kind of get on air and just talk crazy and talk whatever. No, there's a rhyme and a reason and a timing to everything that you do.
As a matter of fact, as an executive producer, you shouldn't even expect to be on air at all.
Exactly.
So that happens. And I go through this process and I get the job.
What was your reaction? Like, oh shit, like I got the job.
I was like, okay, kind of like, this is what I asked for.
Okay.
And every step that I'm taking, it seems to be working. So I was like, all right, go with it. Yeah, I was nervous. Yeah, I was scared.
Come on.
It's intimidating to walk into a room every single day. It was intimidating to walk into a room every single day with the likes of Pebbles.
Come on, I was about to get into
these
it.
are because they're,
radio legends, Pebbles, Ramiro, Melissa, these things that we've driven to work to every single morning and listened to. You're now behind the scenes.
Right. And there's a respect factor. And then there is, to some degree, there is some intimidation because you're like, they've been doing this for years. I haven't. Why in the world would they listen to me? What do I have to offer that they haven't heard or seen, before?
Okay.
And I kind of got over that quick because it's like, I've been given this job for a reason. And I have to be bold. I can't be scared.
Come on.
So
I think that's when our training back in the studios late at night, praying it out. Right. That's when these moments, they come into play in these moments for sure.
Right. Now, again, that doesn't mean there weren't ups and downs and that there still aren't ups and downs. There are. But Yeah, that went good. And then I don't know how I ended up
Now you
talking
talking
on
and
air.
stuff. Look
Yeah,
at you.
I'm trying to. I don't know. Maybe the word got around about how much I love sports.
And there was also kind of a presence, even though you weren't on air, you were kind of a presence on the show behind the scenes because they were
Right.
always addressing you. And
Right,
like
right.
on social media, they would have like the pranks that you guys are pulling on
Yeah,
each other
yeah.
and stuff like that. So like you had a presence on the show, even if you wasn't
Mhm.
physically talking.
Yeah. And then sports, like, hey, do you want to do the sports report? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
nothing. That's light
that's
work.
nothing. So all of that, it's been a blessing. Again, there have been ups and downs. I'm not gonna sit here in front like it's just perfect. It's not. But it has been a blessing. It's been a learning process. I looked at it as I didn't go to school for this. Some people have, but I feel like it's going on. I want to say like 6 or 7 years I've
Yeah,
been there.
Al, the time speaks for itself.
Right.
Yeah.
I graduated like 3 years ago.
Yeah, you did
and
that.
Now, yeah, it's all good. So yeah.
And I want to, I'm always about giving flowers, and I got to make sure I give it to you on this episode, El. I appreciate your story because honestly, without your story, I wouldn't have had the gumption to even think to sit behind a microphone, quite frankly. Let's just call it what it is.
Wow.
That's real. Because we came. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I've always wondered that because a huge part of what I do every single day, the huge part of why I get up at 3:30 in the morning and I'm not a morning person, is because I know I can't do this forever. So I'm hoping that it's inspiring other people, especially Black folks. And I want my legacy of whatever I'm able to accomplish to just make it easier for the next person. And I would always wonder, I'm like, man, I wonder if when we were doing the sports show every single Sunday, I wonder if it inspired anybody. Hi. And see, and that's what's up. I gotta share this with the crew too.
Yeah, facts.
They need to see this. They need to know this.
For sure.
I appreciate that.
First of all, that's family. The crew was listen, y'all all, and like I said, because we grew up and we had that same background, and hearing that transition and hearing how just naturally the jokes that we would have behind closed doors after church and things like that, these are things that the audience loves to hear. Like hearing you guys really was like, yo, that might be something I could do. But you kind of put it on the background. It wasn't until life came and karate chopped me in the throat a couple times. That like you kind of pivot and you kind of fall into it. But once I got here, I immediately thought of you. I was in your inbox like, El, I'm trying to get in the radio. What's happening? Like, I know you're doing your thing. And I know during that time you were more behind the scenes, but like, look at you now, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I have to give you your flowers. I have to thank you for your story.
Me cry on this
I'm about to make you. But no, thank you for your story, El. If nobody else has told you, you inspired me and you've given me the confidence to do what I do. So thank you, El.
Man, that's a blessing. Oh man,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So tell me, what word of advice or quote unquote would you give to somebody like myself continuing to try to kick doors down in this industry? What type of advice would you give to me?
Let your passion for it fuel you, because you're going to hit walls. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to feel like it's not worth it. To this day, there's sometimes I'm like,
for what though? But
like, what am I doing? And I think just like with anything that anybody's doing, if you're doing it for more than just yourself, if you don't know what that is, try to find like, what's that other thing that you're doing this for, so that you can feed off of that when you feel like giving up.
That's a message. I gotta marinate on that just in a second though, bro, because I think I had an episode about that where it's like when you're moving out of love and out of purpose, You can't do anything wrong. There's literally no mistakes that you could be made as long as you're moving out of love and purpose. And that's why I want to touch back though, because that's why your story is inspiring to others and you didn't even know it because you move out of love and out of the spirit and out of passion. You understand me? So when those moments come, when that brick wall hits, you remember why am I doing this? What's happening? I'm sorry. I just had to marinate on that moment.
I would say also to people, like, I don't know why this happens, but don't be afraid to be yourself.
That's a word on this Sunday.
It's like, it is, but you already know
simple,
there's
though.
it's simple. There's nobody else like you. Why are you trying to sound like someone else or present what it is that you're saying on air like somebody else?
Come on.
You're you. I would also say, because of technology today, you have so many other outlets and platforms to put your stuff out on. And another big one, I would say, take advantage of that. And another big one, don't procrastinate and stop being a perfectionist. If
you ain't had to come for me like that, El. Well, I mean, you didn't know you came for me, but you didn't have to.
No, but I'm guilty too. I'm guilty too. Rep it, having reps is like the best thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only way you're gonna get those reps is if you put out what you have. You sit down in front of your microphone. If you sit down in front of your phone and just record yourself, maybe you don't want everybody hearing that, but maybe that's just for you to listen back to and critique yourself, and then do another one, and then do another one. So you keep getting those reps.
Okay.
And a lot of people blame it on, well, it doesn't sound right. And they compare it to what other people have going on and saying, I can't put it out yet. Stop it. Put it out, and you'll be surprised by your 10th episode that you'll sound totally different. By your 100th episode, you'll like,
find your stride.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
Just do it. Just do it. Put it out there and do it. And somebody's gonna like your stuff. Somebody is. Everybody's not, but somebody is.
And that's the biggest piece. I found myself getting wrapped up in those who didn't. The biggest lesson I learned is pay attention to those who do, and stay focused on those who appreciate what you're doing. Because when you pay attention to who's not liking and who's not sharing, it then taints and jades your spirit, and now it's affecting your purpose. So don't do that. Focus on those who support. Don't focus on those who don't.
Exactly. I feel like there's so many other things, and if they come to me, I'll blurt them out there.
Oh, listen, we'll have a part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay. I try not to do too long episodes because I know people's attention span is not that long, quite frankly.
Right.
But I did want to touch on one point that's near and dear to my heart, and I mean, I'm just gonna have to tug at your heartstrings, bro. It just is what it is. You kind of gave us a word on this Sunday, and it's only right because of who you came from. You understand me?
Yeah.
And that's Leroy Irvin Sr. It's been, I can't even count the years. Forgive me, and it's not in a disrespectful
what is this?
term.
No. What is this? 2021. So
yeah.
It's been. It'll be. Dang, this month. It just hit me like, wow.
Come on,
so it's gonna be.
timing.
It's gonna be 18 years this month.
Wow. And when I say that, man, the fact that it's 18 years now later and he still touches my heart, just like the day I first met him. Yeah. I touch on Leroy Irvin Sr. because it speaks to the children that he's created. You understand me? Your dad is a huge staple in the Dorchester community, Boston as a whole. I knew him personally as, Pastor Irvin, you know what I'm saying? He was Reverend Irvin. Running around the church and being on fire for God, but he was also so about his community. And that spoke to me more than any word that he could ever speak, more than any scripture. His heart was for his community, and it bleeds through all of you guys now. And it's just so special to watch his legacy living through you guys. So I just had to take a moment, like, R.I.P. to Reverend Irvin. He will always be a legacy for the Pope family. He will always be that unofficial dad that we didn't get to have. I know we always said that as kids. Like, I know Craig and Damien appreciated him. Those days we would be able to spend at y'all's house. family dinners and all types of
Yep.
craziness. Like, we
Yep.
appreciated you guys truly, truly, truly. Like,
Yep.
I'm about to get emotional talking about it.
No,
Lord,
I feel you. His voice, I can still hear his voice. You know, earlier I was talking about legacy and how I don't like getting up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm not a more, there's all types of things, not giving up. Part of the reason is I still hear his voice.
Yeah.
And I always, and I haven't seen him in 18 years. He's been gone for 18 years, but I still want to make him proud. Which is, you know, and shout out to my mom, because it's the same thing. Like, I want to make her proud. Thank God she's here, but my father's not, and it's like his voice is just still impactful. I could still hear him. I remember when he was alive, one of the things that he was into was the AIDS Action Committee. And people got to understand that there was a time when churches wouldn't talk about HIV and AIDS.
Like it was some black cloud or this devilish thing.
Yep. And my father was one of the first here in Boston.
He sure
I
was.
might, maybe even nationally, because I saw some stuff where I was like, oh, there was some recognition for this nationally about, and being on his side and being there with him, it taught me so much. I saw people take their last breath. I saw people go from entirely healthy to nothing. And I was right there, and through it all, my father was a constant of support and love for those, and comfort for those families, our family, friends. And I saw the power in that. And I don't know how anybody can grow up and witness that type of stuff and not be changed for the rest of their life. And I thank him for that. I really do. I thank him for that.
Yeah, he definitely lit the fire. I feel like that Grace Youth Group, when he had us, he lit that fire underneath us, quite frankly, literally and figuratively. Like, there was a level of discipline that he taught us, even just being kids in the church. So listen, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you I appreciate the entire Irvin family. Do you understand me? I love you guys with my entire heart. For everybody who's living under a rock, let them know where they can find you if they're looking for Leroy Irvin Jr., because I'm gonna keep saying it.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, which I don't use that much. But anyways,
you ain't trying to hit a dance?
I'm a little bit too old for that. But at Boston L Irvin, that's IRVIN, Boston L Irvin. And then on Facebook, all you gotta do is look up my government.
Just check.
And if you if you want to email me, you can email me at leroy.irvin@bbgi.com.
Now he's probably not gonna respond back to you until you know I'm kidding. You know I gotta be petty. It's just a little bit. But no, those folks who
wait. No, see, now I can't let it.
Oh, you about to get me? You about to get me?
No, you know what? It's not so much you. I gotta get your brothers, man.
Okay, what they do?
Your brothers. You know, they used to, one time they jumped me in the bathroom at Grace.
All right, so let me. Okay, I believe it. You know, it's not. I don't put it past them because they did this thing. They were like, I see like a cat here somewhere. I'm trying to pick at it. But no, my brothers were notorious for being the clowns. They were low key bullies. Let's just call it what it is. But so I believe it. I believe it.
It was joy. Shout outs to Damien, because Damien, we used to come over and we would try to connect mad speakers.
Yo,
we would take
y'all
wires,
were aggravating, yo. Y'all were so aggravating.
We had like 8 speakers going, and then they would all blow because we just, they couldn't handle it. And then shout outs to Craig. Craig, I even recently reached out to him because I needed him to do some music for me. Craig, one of the first that I know of that have like a studio at home,
Yeah.
and the doors were always open for me to come on through.
Yeah.
You know,
for
we're
sure.
not even talking about Nintendo days and hanging with Keenan and all that stuff. All that stuff.
Even as adults, like we just, like I said, I feel like people always say it because they went to elementary school or something together. Like, no, we've literally grown up together.
Right.
We've been through a lot of different phases of life. Standing
like
right
waking
next
up
to
and
each
being
other.
like, "Yo, D, you home? Oh yeah, all right, I'm coming."
Coming over.
It takes 5 minutes for me to walk down Wayne Street, cross Blue Hill.
Yep.
I might go down. No,
Seaver
I wouldn't go down
or Castlegate. Yeah, we're not hitting Castlegate. Nah.
No,
you gotta hit Seaver. You gotta hit Seaver.
Then get to Columbia Road,
Yep.
cross over Columbia Road, and then it's right there.
Boom. And while you was on your way to Hewins, I was on my way to Wayne Street over there to visit my bros. Like,
yep. Playing basketball on a milk crate outside y'all's house.
Yeah, good times.
They still have that. They still have the block party on your street.
So the only time they stopped it was, because of coronavirus. But they still do it. They still do it, man. I mean, and it's funny though. I think there was one time they actually had the family out there doing a live concert. Craig, everybody. It was a whole big ordeal. It was a good time, but I don't know if they're gonna continue doing it. Hopefully they bring it back once the world opens back up. That's what I'm hoping for. But family, look, I can talk to you for hours, bro. So I am gonna end the episode here though. Make sure you guys follow the podcast, Lez Get Naked, LezGetNaked with an underscore on Instagram and Twitter, and without one on Facebook. You can also follow me, MzMo MzMoPhila on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you want to come on the show, or if you have some topics you want to talk about, send us an email, lezgetnaked1@gmail.com. As always, family, I ask that you listen with an open heart, open mind, and open ears. And as always, keep the conversations going. I love y'all, family. Peace out. Leroy, you stay right there. I'm just ending the recording. You stay right there.
Let's get naked. Like the juice, do.